be seated.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a
Hello.
case of Holliday versus Terrell.
Thank you, Jerome.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Holliday, you admit to cheating on the defendant, Mr. Terrell. You say you are here today to determine the paternity of your 1-year-old son, Fonz Terrell III, in hopes that Mr. Terrell will finally step up and be a father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Terrell, you say your doubts about paternity surfaced when you logged on to Ms. Holliday's Facebook account and discovered messages from 3 different men claiming to be your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
If today's results prove that you are not the father of her kid, you say you're kicking her out of the home you share for good.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Terrell, please describe your doubts to the court.
Well, we went to the hospital, to go get tested because she was throwing up. We found out she's pregnant. I'm happy. I'm like, dang, man, my first child ever, I'm even talking about marrying this girl. So I'm like, all right, we happy. A couple of days passed. She telling everybody on Facebook, like, oh, I'm pregnant, and then 3 different guys hit her up, like, oh, is it mine? And so I'm like, all right, she told me 2 of them is exes and one is the dude she fool around with. So I'm like, what's up with that,
3 different guys.
Yes, Your Honor. I got the papers right here.
I'd like to see those papers. Jerome, please.
Sure. There you go, Judge.
All right, let's take a look at this evidence. So these are messages. What's your number? And he's calling you baby mamas. What's your number? Because I really need to talk with you. Tell my son I love him and I can't wait to see him.
The second one is the dude she cheated on me with.
I was about to say, this is another person.
Yeah, and I seen the messages, I'm in the room and I'm on the phone, I'm on Facebook and I'm seeing her message back and forth. He like, oh, when we gonna hook up again, you know what I'm saying? So
he's
the message
basically saying
popped up.
in this message that he's saying he thinks that I had sex with you recently, and basically I just played it off. I played along with it.
Yeah, it was a cover-up. After she deletes all the messages, that one pops up.
Okay, there's a lot of men messaging you about sex, paternity, 3 different men asking, am I the father? What is going on, Miss Holliday?
I cheated with TJ one time with an ex of mine. TJ, he doesn't want to be responsible. He doesn't want to be a parent. He doesn't want to take care of his responsibility. So therefore, he's trying to throw things out to try to make it seem like he's a perfect person. He doesn't want to step up and be a responsible person.
So he's saying you're the one ducking and dodging by erasing messages, but you're saying he's the one that's ducking and dodging because he doesn't want the responsibility.
Yes, that's
I
what
didn't
I'm
want the
saying.
responsibility while I buy diapers
Do
for my
you
kid.
admit to being intimate with the 3 men in question?
Okay, I cheated on TJ one time. The second guy, Devin, I didn't have sex with Devin when the baby was conceived. When our son was conceived, I wasn't with Devin. I broke up with Devin in 2011 in June. I got with TJ in July of 2011. I was no longer talking to Devin at all.
Okay, what about the boat incident?
Okay, it was a boat in our yard. The boat, he came over and I was supposed to be doing his daughter's hair. Since he told me that he had recently had sex with my cousin, that I didn't want to do his daughter's hair anymore. I was upset, I was mad. I'm not gonna do your daughter's hair. So my cousin came and they all hanging out. I go back in the house, I don't want nothing to do with you guys. You had sex with her, so you deal with her.
But Your Honor.
Okay, so he messaged you though and asked, am I the father?
Yes, he did.
So even though you say you didn't have sex with him during the time of conception, he obviously thinks he did, or he wouldn't be calling to ask if he was the father. Now, he's going to join us in court shortly, and he has been tested as well. So, again, Mr. Terrell, is there any more doubt you want to outline?
Yeah, she said that he had sex with her cousin, right? In the boat, whatever. But later on, after my son was born, I'm telling her, like, all right, I don't believe that story about the boat, so let me hit him up on your Facebook so he could think I'm you. So I get on her Facebook. As I'm hitting him up, she gets nervous. She tells me that they had oral in the boat that day.
So when confronted, she begins to admit that there was some type of sexual contact.
Yes, Your Honor. And then it was a situation where me and her went together in the car, and we went to a hotel. So she go in the room. She like, oh, he about to give me some money. So I'm like, all right. I'm sitting in the car outside. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. So they go in the room, and then they come out shortly. She gets in the car. We're on our way home, and then he texts her. I'm using the phone. He texts her like, oh, babe, that kiss was the bomb, babe, and all that. So I'm like, what's up with this? What happened? She was like, no, I didn't even kiss him, man. He talking crazy. So I'm like,
So you sitting out in the car and she's up kissing somebody else?
Yeah.
That's what you believe?
Yes. He actually called me on my phone, and he telling me all this different stuff. They kicked it or whatever. They had sex, and the baby's his. Watch when the baby's born. It's his. It's his. It's his.
So why are all these men making inquiries as to whether they're the father of your child? I don't understand this.
Your Honor, the third person that TJ is talking about, we went to the room, and yes, I was getting money from somebody, but as I'm getting this money, collecting this money from different people, he doesn't have nothing to say. Why? Because I'm taking care of him with this money.
What is this collecting money?
I had different friends, like, they're guy friends. Yes, I had different guy friends. TJ knows that.
So you have male friends and they give you or loan, is this a loan?
No, it's not a loan. It's just like, I called and I need help from you, so can you do this for me?
And you drive her there.
That was only that
And
one
he
time at
knew-
that
and he knew
hotel.
what
She
I
was
was
like,
going
oh, I'm
there
just
for.
going in there to get the money. I didn't think she was
Yes.
going to kiss the dude and, he going to hit up her phone talking about how
There
he
ain't
kissed
nobody
her.
giving up no money for nothing now. Come on.
I'm gonna leave it at this. Mr. Terrell, you brought a witness. I'd like to hear from her. Please, ma'am. Please state your name.
My name is Pamela Archer.
Hello, Ms. Archer. State your relationship to Mr. Terrell.
Mr. Terrell is my grandson, and of course his son is my great-grandson.
Okay.
And I'm a pastor, I'm all of their pastors, so I'm just really, behold, this is my secretary. To hear all of this stuff like this.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And so what do you have to add, ma'am?
He brought her to my home, and I set her down, and I said, what is your intent for my grandson? She said, oh, nothing, I'm just going to school. I'm going to school for nursing for 5 years. I'm gonna be a neonatal nurse, and I don't want no children at this time, and I don't want to get married. I said, oh, okay, because my grandson, I'm trying to keep him right, and I'm trying to keep him saved, and I'm trying to help him live a holy life. I said, so, but this is the thing. TJ's mother died, which is my daughter. I only had that one daughter, which bared me these 4 grandchildren. And when she died, she was given medication at the hospital, so it was fault of the hospitals of her death. So I think she's in this thing for the money.
So do you believe Fonz is your grandson's child?
I told him to get a DNA because I have a spirit of discernment. I have that. That's a gift from God. And I told him, I said, before you sign any papers, you get a DNA. And I told her that too. And she said, well, you can get the DNA, but it never got the DNA. He's a year old.
So you've been asking for it consistently?
Yes, but one thing I do know that happened. One day she was trying to prove to TJ that she wasn't doing nothing with this one guy. So she put me on the phone with him. Well, the guy heard her call me Granny, because she always calls me Granny, because I treat her like a granddaughter. So I think he thought that I was her grandmother. So he got to talking, and he told me, I said, well, why do you think that my grandson is your son? He said, I know he's my son. I said, well, what do you mean by that? Not knowing that I'm TJ's grandmother. He said, because when I was kicking it with her, I kicked it with her right around the holidays, and we kicked it at the hotel. I said, really? I said, what days was this? Then I got to adding up. I said, TJ, DNA, TJ, DNA.
Okay. Now, Ms. Holliday, I have to ask you, do you know this person that got on the phone with Ms. Archer and said these things?
Yes, I know this person.
He said he was kicking it with you while Mr. Terrell was at his grandmother's. Why would the guy say this at all? At that time, he didn't even think he was talking to Ms. Archer. He thought he was talking to your granny. So why would he say that to your grandmother?
That's a lie too, because my grandmother, at that time, my grandmother was sick and he knew that. So at that, he wouldn't even know that he was talking. He didn't even know my grandmother.
How did he know when I was gone? That's the question I want to ask. How did he know those dates I was gone? He named those dates on the point. He was gone. Yeah, he was gone to your grandma's this day, this day, this day.
Yes.
You look at him and you look at me. What do you see? Don't we look alike?
I see the
Our
resemblance.
genes
I do.
is very strong in my family. Very strong.
And you are then saying
I'm
you don't see that.
No.
And then you look at him and look at him.
I look at him, I see you. And not only that do I see you, but the fact is that you're saying that I'm lying, but you are the one that called that man on your phone from my house in Palmdale.
Proving the
and
point.
you gave me the
Proving the
phone.
point.
The point
So,
is,
but Miss Holiday, you gotta get this.
he said he
You
wanted to be
called
with
him
her.
on the phone
At my
to
house.
prove a point, but when she gets on the phone, he makes the exact opposite point.
Yes.
And he knows.
Yes.
And he knows.
All right, Miss Archer, I thank you so much for your testimony. You may be seated. Now, Miss Holiday, you also brought a witness, and I would like to hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
My name is Fanny Holliday.
Thank you for joining us. And your relationship to...
This is my daughter.
Okay. What would you like to add, ma'am? What do you know about this?
Well, the three men, TJ knew all about all of them.
After she
TJ
told
took
me,
them
after
to,
my son was born.
TJ took
Before
them.
your son was born,
Yes,
you knew
After
about
my
them.
son was born.
The
Before
crazy
your
one,
son was
the
born,
crazy
you knew
one,
about them.
TJ talked to him all the time. What's up, man? How's this man, this. He even told her to call him to ask him for
TJ
some
said
money.
on the phone why he said, I just told him those lies because I wanted to see what he had to say. This was on the phone, on speaker, while TJ was sitting right next to me. And I said, oh, so you telling me that you lied to him? He said, yeah, I lied to him so I can see what I can get out of him, what information that I can get from him.
All right, Ms. Holliday, thank you so much for that testimony. You may be seated. I have another witness I need to bring out. Jerome, could you please escort Mr. Williamson into the courtroom? Now, he is one of the men that asked if he was your child's father.
Moshe is a liar, Your Honor. I don't understand this.
Mr.
Moshe
Williamson.
is lying. I don't understand this. How you doing today, Your Honor?
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Williamson. Have a seat. Now, you're walking into the courtroom saying that Ms. Holliday is lying and you don't understand this.
Right.
Please, tell me what it is you do know.
Okay, for 2 years on and off, me and Moshe dated. December of 2011, Your Honor, Moshe left. I couldn't get in contact with her. I text, I called, no answer. 3 weeks later, I find out she's pregnant through a message. My cousin told me she was pregnant. I hit her up, then I get an answer. She tell me, oh, it's a 50-50 chance I might be the father or I might not be the father.
So hold on. When she said there was a 50-50 chance, what did you say to her at that point?
I said, well, what happened? She said, I cheated on you. And I was like heartbroken about it, like, you know.
Ms. Holliday, do you remember this conversation?
No, I broke up with Devin in June 2011. I got with TJ July 2011. He's
That's
saying
a lie.
I hit him up and I'm with him in December, but she's saying I'm with somebody else in December.
Object, Your Honor.
I'm with somebody.
You made an objection?
It was one day I was actually at her house and I'm kicking it, you know, we're together, I'm kicking it. He shows up at the door. I'm not knowing it's him. She sees him from the door. She breaks and run in her room and have her cousin to go answer the door. I'm like, what's going on? So then after that, you know, her cousin tell him that she here. They go from the yard, they go like up the street, you know, where I can't see from
We
in the
didn't go
house.
up the street. We went outside the gate.
Right.
But why y'all do that?
So you did leave the house
I went outside the gate, right in front of the house,
to
talk to him.
about.
It wasn't really about nothing. We haven't talked to each other in a long time. So he like, what's going on? How you doing? And everything else. You know, that was way before I even was pregnant, before I had a baby. This is way before then.
Okay, but after you found out you were pregnant, you do admit to having having a conversation with him about the paternity of the baby.
No, I had a conversation with him and told him I was pregnant, but I never said he was the father.
Do you think a man would make up a conversation that
No.
a young woman told him he may be the father of a child? She's accusing you of just saying this out of the blue. That you just decided after you had that conversation, I'm going to add in there that she also said there's a 50-50 chance that I'm the father of the child.
No. She hit me up after letting me know she was pregnant. And I asked her, like, what's going on? She like, well, this is 50-50 chance for you.
So when the baby came, did you hear anything else?
No, I didn't hear anything else.
So what are you hoping for today?
That this kid is mine, so I can be in my kid's life.
Mr. Terrell, what are you hoping for?
Hope it's mine. So I can continue doing what I'm doing as a good father.
But
You
when
talking about
he had
Holliday?
he had money. He still wasn't doing it.
The thing I'm
Stop
hoping for
it.
is to prove to TJ that this baby is his so he can be a better father, but I have no desire talking to neither one of them.
That's a lie.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. And they read as follows. When it comes to 1-year-old Fonts III and whether Mr. Terrell or Mr. Williamson is the father, it has been determined that Mr. Terrell, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's them strong genes.
Ain't they?
So, Mr. Williamson, I know this was not the news you wanted. How do you feel?
I feel real bad. I already have a daughter, 5 years old. I was looking forward to having a family with Moshe. No, I guess my dreams don't come true all the time.
I'm sorry to hear that. This now is cut and dry. Trust me, I had a hard time following this saga. But at the end of the day, there's a beautiful little boy that is just there waiting for his parents to get it together. This is a situation that truthfully you all entered into a sexual relationship, created a little person, but then didn't really want to step up to the plate and be the adult you needed to be for the child because you were running around with this one and talking on the phone with this one and collecting money from this one. I don't know what was going on. Now, focus on the baby. Are we clear? Yes. Court is adjourned.
I learned from Judge Lake that family truly is important and that we're gonna love on this child. And he's already loved, but he's gonna be loved more. My daughter would be happy to see it, to see her first grandson. She's not here today, but I'm here.